Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Station Liberty, watching the stars through the large viewing window. The space station orbited high above Earth, and from here, the blue planet looked peaceful and quiet. Jake had been commander of this station for 3 years now, and he loved the view, but today felt different. Today felt wrong. The communication panel started beeping with an urgent signal. Lieutenant Amy Carter turned to Jake with worry in her eyes. "Commander, we're getting a transmission from deep space. It's not from any of our ships." Jake walked over to the main screen. "Put it through, Amy." The screen flickered and showed something Jake had never seen before. A tall, thin creature with gray skin and large black eyes stared back at him. The alien wore a dark robe with strange symbols on it. When it spoke, its voice was cold and harsh. "Greetings, primitive humans of the third planet. I am Ambassador Zexthul of the Galactic Council. Your species has been observed and judged. You have expanded too quickly into space. You have become too aggressive for such a young race." Jake felt his heart beating faster. This was first contact with aliens, but it was not going the way anyone had hoped. The alien continued speaking. "The Galactic Council has decided that humanity must be controlled. You will surrender all your military ships and weapons within 1 rotation of your planet. You will accept our protection and guidance. If you refuse, your species will be removed from existence." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in complete silence. Jake stared at the blank screen, trying to understand what had just happened. Amy was the first to speak. "Commander, did that alien just threaten to destroy all of humanity?" Before Jake could answer, another signal came through. This time it was from Captain Lisa Rodriguez aboard the exploration ship Pioneer. Lisa appeared on screen and she looked scared. "Jake, are you seeing this? We just watched them destroy mining station Alpha 7. They used some kind of energy weapon. The entire station just vanished in a flash of light. There was nothing left, not even debris." Jake closed his eyes for a moment. Mining station Alpha 7 had been unmanned, but it was still a massive structure. If the aliens could destroy it so easily, what chance did Earth have? "Lisa, get back to Earth immediately. We need to report this to command." On Earth, President Carol Adams was in the middle of a budget meeting when her aide rushed into the room. "Madam President, we have an emergency. You need to come to the Situation Room right now." Carol followed her aide through the White House corridors. She had been president for 2 years and she had dealt with many crises. But something about the way her aide looked told her this was different from anything before. The Situation Room was full of people. General Ryan Brooks, the head of Earth's military forces, stood at the main display. Admiral Kate Sullivan was there too, along with other top officials. Everyone looked worried. "What's happening, Ryan?" Carol asked. "General." Brooks activated the main screen. "Madam President, we've made contact with aliens and they want us to surrender." Carol sat down heavily in her chair as she watched the recording of Ambassador Zexthul's message. When it finished, she looked around the room. "How many ships do they have?" Admiral Sullivan stepped forward. "Our long-range sensors show at least 50 large vessels near Jupiter. Each one is bigger than anything we've ever built. And Madam President, they destroyed mining station Alpha 7 like it was made of paper." Carol thought about the mining station. It had taken 2 years to build and could house 500 people. "How long do we have?" "They gave us 24 hours, General Brooks said. 1 rotation of our planet." The room fell quiet. Everyone knew that Earth's military was strong compared to what they had 20 years ago, but against aliens who could travel between stars, they seemed helpless. Dr. Alex Turner was working late at the Luna Research Facility when the emergency alert came through. He was a quantum physicist, and he spent most of his time thinking about impossible things. But the message from Earth Command was more impossible than anything he had ever imagined. His colleague, Dr. Maria Santos, ran into his lab. "Alex, did you see the transmission? Aliens are real, and they want to destroy us." Alex sat down at his computer and pulled up all the data they had received about the alien ships. "Maria, look at this. Their ships are huge, but they move slowly, and they're all staying in formation near Jupiter. So what? They can still destroy us all? Alex studied the numbers more carefully. Maybe, but I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might work. Back on the Liberty Station, Jake was talking to his crew. They were all scared, but they were also angry. Humans didn't like being told what to do, especially by strangers who threatened their families. "Commander," said Lieutenant Bob Wilson, "what are our orders?" Jake looked out at Earth again. Down there, billions of people were living their normal lives. Most of them didn't even know about the alien threat yet. But soon, everyone would know that humanity faced its greatest challenge. "Our orders are to protect Earth," Jake said. "Whatever it takes." Captain Sam Parker was aboard his ship Ghost Rider, a small stealth vessel designed for reconnaissance. His ship was fast and hard to detect, which made it perfect for dangerous missions. When he received orders to spy on the alien fleet, he didn't hesitate. "Jenny, Tony, we're going to take a closer look at our new neighbors," he told his crew. Jenny Collins was his pilot and Tony Walsh was his engineer. Both had served with him for years. "How close are we talking about?" Jenny asked. "Close enough to see what we're dealing with, but not so close that we can't run away fast." As Ghost Rider moved toward Jupiter, Sam thought about his family back on Earth. His wife Kate and his daughter Emma were probably watching the news by now. The government couldn't keep something this big secret for long. The alien ships were even more impressive up close. They were dark and smooth, like giant metal teardrops floating in space. Energy fields surrounded each ship, making them glow with a soft blue light. "Those are some serious weapons," Tony said, studying his instruments. But as Sam watched the aliens, he noticed something interesting. The ships were all pointing the same direction, and they weren't moving much. They seemed to be waiting for something. "Jenny, can you get us around to the other side without them seeing us?" "I can try, Sam." As Ghost Rider slowly circled the alien fleet, Sam realized that the aliens had made their ships to fight big battles against other large ships. But what if they faced something small and fast? What if they faced something unexpected? For the first time since the aliens arrived, Sam smiled. Maybe humanity wasn't as helpless as everyone thought. Dr. Alex Turner had not slept in 18 hours. He sat in his lab on the Luna Research Facility, surrounded by computer screens and coffee cups. The alien ultimatum had given humanity less than 6 hours now, and everyone on Earth was preparing for the worst. But Alex refused to give up. "This is impossible, Alex," Dr. Maria Santos said as she looked at his calculations. "You want to trick aliens who can travel between stars? They must be thousands of years ahead of us in technology." Alex pointed to his main screen. "Look at their ships, Maria. They're big and powerful, but they're also predictable. They think like conquerors. They expect us to either fight them directly or surrender. They don't expect us to be clever." Maria sat down next to him. She had worked with Alex for 5 years, and she knew he was brilliant. But this plan seemed like science fiction. "Even if your quantum entanglement idea works, we would need weeks to build the equipment. We have hours." "Then we work fast," Alex said. "Call everyone. Get every scientist on Luna and Earth working on this. If we're going to die, we might as well try something amazing first." Captain Sam Parker was now only 50,000 kilometers from the alien fleet. His ship Ghost Rider was running silent, using only passive sensors to avoid detection. What he saw made him both terrified and hopeful. "The alien ships are huge," he told Jenny Collins, his pilot. "But look at how they're arranged. They're in a perfect formation, like they're going to attack a planet or a large fleet." Tony Walsh, his engineer, was studying the energy readings from the alien vessels. "Sam, these ships are designed for massive firepower, but their defensive systems seem to focus on protecting against other big ships. I don't think they're ready for small, fast attacks." Sam nodded. This was what he had hoped to find. "Jenny, can you plot a course that would let us get close to their command ship? Are you crazy? We're one small ship against 50 alien battleships." "I'm not planning to attack them," Sam said. "I want to see how they react to something unexpected. Sometimes the best way to learn about an enemy is to surprise them." On Earth, the news had spread everywhere. Every television, radio, and internet connection was talking about the alien ultimatum. In the city of Denver, construction worker Pete Johnson was helping organize evacuation centers for families who lived near military bases. "Don't worry, Mrs. Chen," Pete told an elderly woman. "We're going to take care of everyone. The government has plans for this kind of thing." Pete didn't actually know if the government had plans for alien invasion, but he knew that panicking people wouldn't help anyone. He had served in the army before becoming a construction worker, and he understood that keeping calm was the first step in any crisis. In a school in Chicago, teacher Beth Anderson was trying to explain to her students why their parents were picking them up early. "Sometimes grown-ups have to make very important decisions," she told the children. "Right now, the leaders of our world are working hard to keep everyone safe." 8-year-old Tommy raised his hand. "Miss Anderson, are the aliens really going to hurt us?" Beth knelt down so she was at Tommy's eye level. "I don't know what's going to happen, Tommy, but I know that humans are very good at solving problems. We've survived ice ages, wars, and diseases. We're stronger than we look." President Carol Adams was in the Situation Room with her advisors. The mood was dark. Every military expert agreed that Earth's forces could not defeat the alien fleet. "Madam President," General Ryan Brooks said, "our nuclear weapons might damage their ships, but we can't get close enough to use them effectively. Their energy shields are too strong." Admiral Kate Sullivan added, "Our space fleet has 37 combat vessels. They have 50 ships, each one 10 times larger than our biggest battleship. The math is simple." Carol looked at the tactical display showing Earth's defenses. It seemed hopeless, but she wasn't ready to surrender. "What about evacuation? Can we get people off the planet?" "We have transport ships, but not enough for 8 billion people," Admiral Sullivan replied. "Maybe we could save a few million, but that would mean abandoning everyone else." Carol stood up and walked to the window. Outside, Washington, D.C. looked normal. People were still going about their lives, even though everything might end in a few hours. "I won't choose who lives and who dies. We find another way, or we all face this together." Dr. Alex Turner's crazy plan was starting to take shape. Scientists from 12 different research facilities were working together, sharing ideas and equipment through quantum communication links. They had built 3 prototype devices in the past 16 hours. "The theory is sound," reported Dr. Sarah Kim from the Mars Research Station. "If we can create false quantum signatures, we can make their sensors show whatever we want them to show." Dr. James Park from the Europa facility added, "We've tested it on a small scale. We made our scanner think there were 5 ships where there was only 1. But Alex, scaling this up to fool an entire alien fleet, that's asking a lot." Alex was tired, but he felt more hopeful than he had since the aliens arrived. "We don't need to fool them for long. We just need to make them think twice before they attack." Captain Sam Parker made his decision. "Jenny, take us in. I want to see what these aliens do when something small and fast gets close to their formation." Ghost Rider accelerated toward the alien fleet. The small ship moved like a dart, changing course randomly to avoid being an easy target. As they got closer, Tony noticed something on his instruments. "Sam, they're scanning us, but their weapons aren't locking on. It's like they don't know how to target something our size. Or maybe they don't think we're worth bothering with," Jenny said. They were now close enough to see details on the alien ships. The vessels were beautiful in a cold, metallic way. Strange symbols covered their hulls, and energy fields rippled around them like water. Suddenly, one of the smaller alien ships broke formation and moved toward Ghost Rider. Sam smiled. "There we go. They're curious about us." The alien ship was still much larger than Ghost Rider, but it was moving fast and seemed designed for pursuit rather than heavy combat. "Jenny, show them what human engineering can do." Ghost Rider danced through space using Earth's gravity and the magnetic fields around Jupiter to change direction in ways the alien ship couldn't predict. The chase lasted only 10 minutes, but it gave Sam exactly the information he needed. "They're fast, but they're not used to fighting opponents who use unconventional tactics," he told his crew. "Their ship is designed for space battles, not for chasing something that flies like we're still in an atmosphere." As Ghost Rider escaped back toward Earth, Sam was already planning his report. The aliens were powerful, but they weren't perfect. And sometimes that was all humans needed to find a way to win. Back on Luna, Alex Turner received Sam's preliminary report and smiled for the first time in days. "Maria, I think our plan just got a lot more interesting." Dr. Alex Turner stood in the main laboratory of Luna Research Facility, watching dozens of scientists work on his impossible plan. The quantum entanglement devices were finally taking shape. 3 large machines hummed with power, each one designed to create false sensor readings across multiple star systems. "Alex, the first test is ready," Dr. Maria Santos called out from her control station. "We're going to try to make their sensors think there's a ship where there isn't one." Alex nodded. They had less than 2 hours before the alien deadline. If this didn't work, humanity would have to choose between surrender and destruction. "Run the test, Maria." The machine activated with a low whine. Energy patterns danced across the display screens, and suddenly their sensors showed a massive battleship appearing near Mars. Alex held his breath as they watched the readings. "It's working," Maria whispered. "Their long-range scanners should be picking up a ship that doesn't exist." Aboard the Ghost Rider, Captain Sam Parker was preparing for the most dangerous mission of his life. His ship was now equipped with one of Alex's smaller quantum devices, designed to create the illusion that his single vessel was actually an entire squadron. "Sam, are you sure about this?" Jenny Collins asked from the pilot seat. "We're going to fly right into the middle of their fleet and pretend to be 20 ships." "That's exactly what we're going to do," Sam replied. "Tony, is the device ready?" "Engineer." Tony Walsh checked his instruments. "The quantum generator is online. When I activate it, their sensors will show Ghost Rider as multiple ships in formation. But Sam, if they get too close, they'll see we're just one ship." "Then we don't let them get close," Sam said. "Jenny, plot a course that takes us around their fleet. Make it look like we're scouting for a larger attack force." On Earth, Captain Lisa Rodriguez was preparing her own part of the deception. She commanded a small task force of Earth's fastest ships, including the exploration vessel Pioneer and 4 escort frigates. Her mission was to create false energy signatures that would suggest massive fleets approaching from unexplored regions of space. Captain Rodriguez, her communications officer, Lieutenant Dan Foster, reported, "We're receiving the quantum enhancement signal from Luna. The false signature generators are online." Lisa looked at her tactical display. In a few minutes, her 5 ships would appear to alien sensors as 50 vessels approaching from the direction of Alpha Centauri. "All ships, this is Rodriguez. Remember, we're not here to fight. We're here to make them think someone else is coming to fight." Ambassador Zex Thule stood on the bridge of his flagship, studying the reports from his sensor operators. Something was wrong. The humans were supposed to be preparing for surrender, but instead, strange energy readings were appearing throughout the solar system. "Commander Vexnall," he called to his second in command, "explain these readings. Our sensors show human ships where there should be none." Commander Vexnall studied the displays with growing concern. "Ambassador, we're detecting multiple human fleets moving in formation. Some appear to be coming from outside the solar system. This is impossible. Our intelligence indicated the humans have fewer than 40 military vessels." Zexthul felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries of conquest: uncertainty. "Are you certain our sensors are functioning correctly?" "I've run diagnostics 3 times, Ambassador. The readings are consistent. The humans appear to have allies we knew nothing about." Meanwhile, Colonel Dan Foster was coordinating Earth's most elaborate military deception from a command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. His job was to make the fake battle near Mars look real and terrifying. "Deploy the explosive charges," he ordered. "Make it look like we're testing experimental weapons." In space near Mars, a series of carefully placed nuclear devices detonated, in sequence. To alien sensors watching from Jupiter, it appeared that human ships were demonstrating devastating new weapons against asteroid targets. The explosions were real, but the ships firing the weapons existed only in the quantum false signature generators. Dr. Alex Turner watched the deception unfold from his laboratory. Every false reading, every phantom ship, every fake energy signature was coordinated through his quantum network. But the most important part of the plan was still to come. Maria, activate the deep space communicators. It's time to send our fake diplomatic messages. The quantum communicators began transmitting what appeared to be diplomatic conversations between Earth and several unknown alien species. The messages, entirely created by Earth's best linguists and scientists, discussed mutual defense treaties and technology-sharing agreements. Ambassador Zexthul received these transmissions with growing alarm. The messages were encrypted, but his computers could break the codes. What they revealed was shocking. Humanity appeared to have been secretly allied with several advanced civilizations for decades. "This changes everything," he told Commander Fexnall. "If the humans have allies with technology superior to ours, we cannot proceed with the original plan." Captain Sam Parker was now flying Ghost Rider directly through the alien formation, his ship appearing on their sensors as an entire reconnaissance squadron. The aliens were tracking him, but their weapons remained offline. They seemed confused rather than aggressive. "Sam, they're sending us a communication signal," Tony reported. "Don't answer it," Sam replied. "Let them wonder who we are and what we want." Ghost Rider completed its pass through the alien fleet and accelerated toward the outer solar system. To the aliens, it appeared that an unknown military force had just conducted a bold intelligence-gathering mission and was now reporting back to a larger fleet. On Earth, President Carol Adams was watching the deception from the White House situation room. The reports from space showed that the aliens were becoming increasingly cautious and confused. "Madam President," General Ryan Brooks reported, "our fake fleets are holding formation, and the quantum signatures are stable. The aliens seem to be buying it." Admiral Kate Sullivan added, "Their fleet has stopped advancing toward Earth. They're maintaining position near Jupiter, but they're not moving to attack." Carol allowed herself a small smile. "How long can we maintain this illusion? The quantum generators can run for several days," Dr. Turner reported over the communication link from Luna. "But the longer we maintain the deception, the more likely they are to discover it's fake." Beth Anderson was in her Chicago classroom, watching the news with her fellow teachers. The government had finally announced that Earth was negotiating with aliens, but they hadn't mentioned the threat of destruction. The news made it sound like humanity was joining some kind of galactic community. "Do you think it's true?" asked her colleague, Mr. Stevens. "Are we really going to have alien friends?" Beth looked out the window at the children playing in the schoolyard. They had no idea how close they had come to losing everything. "I think we're about to find out what humans can accomplish when we work together." Back in space, the alien fleet was receiving more troubling reports. Scout ships sent to investigate the Phantom fleets found empty space, but their sensors continued to show massive formations of unknown vessels. The quantum deception was working perfectly. Ambassador Zexthul made a decision that would change everything. Instead of pressing forward with the attack, he ordered his fleet to maintain defensive positions while he contacted the Galactic Council for new instructions. "We may have underestimated these humans," he told his command staff. "Perhaps it is time to reconsider our approach." Dr. Alex Turner collapsed into his chair, exhaustion finally catching up with him. The deception was holding, but now came the hardest part: convincing the aliens to negotiate instead of attack. And somehow, they had to do it without revealing that everything they had shown the aliens was an elaborate lie. "Phase 1 complete," he told Maria. "Now we find out if humans are as good at diplomacy as we are at being sneaky." President Carol Adams stood before the cameras in the White House press room. Behind her, flags from every nation on Earth hung side by side. This would be the most important speech in human history, and she knew that every word mattered. Communications. Director Chris Hayes had worked with her for hours to prepare this message. It needed to sound confident without being aggressive, strong without being foolish. Most importantly, it had to convince the aliens that humanity was not alone in the galaxy. "My fellow humans, and to our visitors from beyond the stars," Carol began, her voice steady and clear. "Today marks a new chapter in the story of humanity. We have been contacted by the Galactic Council, and we have considered their proposal carefully." On the alien flagship near Jupiter, Ambassador Zexthul watched the transmission with his command staff. The human leader looked calm, almost relaxed. This was not what he had expected from a species facing extinction. "We appreciate the Council's interest in our affairs," President Adams continued. "However, humanity must respectfully decline their offer of protection. We are not alone, as the Council may have recently discovered. Our allies stand with us, and together we are prepared to defend our right to exist as a free species." Commander Vexnall turned to Ambassador Zexthal with worry in his eyes. "Sir, she speaks as if they know we have detected their allied fleets. How could they know what our sensors have found?" Zexthal did not answer. He was too busy wondering. The same thing. Carol's speech continued with words that made the alien leadership deeply uncomfortable. "We call upon the Galactic Council to withdraw from our solar system and to recognize Earth's sovereignty. We are willing to discuss peaceful relations, but only as equals, not as subjects." The transmission ended, leaving the alien command bridge in silence. Finally, Zexthal spoke. "Contact the Galactic Council immediately. We need new orders." In space near Mars, Admiral Kate Sullivan was coordinating the next phase of the deception. Her flagship Defiance led a formation of Earth's largest warships, but to alien sensors, they appeared to be accompanied by dozens of massive vessels from unknown civilizations. "Admiral," Captain Nick Thompson reported from his position aboard the heavy cruiser Guardian, "the quantum generators are working perfectly. We look like a fleet of 200 ships instead of 20. "Excellent, Nick. Now let's give them something to really worry about," Admiral Sullivan replied. "All ships prepare for the demonstration." What followed was carefully choreographed theater. Earth's ships fired conventional missiles at empty space, but the quantum generators made it appear that they were using weapons of incredible power. Explosions bloomed in the darkness, each one designed to look like the destruction of massive asteroid-sized targets. Captain Jenny Collins was now piloting an experimental fighter equipped with the most advanced quantum generator Dr. Turner had created. Her mission was the most dangerous part of the entire deception. She had to appear to destroy an alien surveillance outpost using impossible technology. The outpost was real, but it had been evacuated hours earlier. Hidden charges were ready to destroy it on command. Jenny's job was to make it look like her single fighter had weapons that could vaporize alien technology. "Jenny, you're approaching the target," came the voice of Mission Controller Lieutenant Mike Davis. "Remember, make it look effortless." Jenny flew her fighter in a complex pattern around the alien outpost. Her quantum generator made it appear that her ship was charging some kind of exotic weapon. At exactly the right moment, the hidden explosives detonated, and the outpost vanished in a brilliant flash. To the aliens watching from their fleet, it looked like a single human fighter had just destroyed their technology, using weapons they couldn't understand. Dr. Maria Santos was in the Luna laboratory, managing the most complex part of the deception. She was creating fake communications between Earth and several imaginary alien civilizations. The messages had to sound real enough to fool beings who had been part of galactic politics for thousands of years. "Alex, the diplomatic traffic is ready," she told Dr. Turner. "We've created communication logs showing decades of secret negotiations between Earth and the Centauri Alliance, the Vega Confederacy, and the Andromeda Trade Union." Alex nodded with satisfaction. "Make sure the aliens can intercept and decode the messages. We want them to think they're discovering our secrets by accident." The fake messages told a story of humanity slowly building alliances with powerful civilizations that the Galactic Council had never encountered. The communications suggested that Earth had been sharing technology and resources with these hidden allies for years. Ambassador Zexthal received these intercepted messages with growing fear. According to the communications, humanity's allies possessed technology that made the Galactic Council's weapons look primitive. Worse, the messages suggested that these unknown civilizations viewed the Council's ultimatum as an act of war. "Sir," Commander Vexnall reported, "we're receiving a priority transmission from the Galactic Council High Command." The main screen flickered, showing 3 alien beings that Zexthal recognized as the Council's supreme leaders. Their expressions were grave. "Ambassador Zexthal," the center figure spoke, "we have been monitoring the situation in the human solar system. The reports you have sent are deeply troubling. Unknown civilizations with superior technology? Secret alliances? How did our intelligence fail so completely? Zexthul felt his career crumbling. Supreme leaders, the humans, appear to have been far more cunning than we believed. They have hidden their true capabilities and their alliances until now. This changes our entire strategy, another council leader said. If these unknown civilizations decide to retaliate against us, we could face the destruction of our own worlds. The risk is too great. Captain Sam Parker was completing his final reconnaissance mission, flying Ghost Rider through a formation of phantom ships that existed only in the alien sensors. His small vessel appeared to be coordinating with dozens of massive warships as they took defensive positions around Earth. Sam, the aliens are pulling back, Tony Walsh reported from his engineering station. Their fleet is moving to a more distant orbit around Jupiter. Good, Sam replied, and that means they're starting to take our fake fleet seriously. On Earth, construction worker Pete Johnson was helping coordinate civilian preparations, but now the mood had changed. Instead of preparing for destruction, people were talking about humanity joining the galactic community. The government's carefully released information made it sound like the aliens had come to welcome Earth as a new member. Teacher Beth Anderson was explaining the situation to her students in terms they could understand. Sometimes when you meet new friends, you have to show them that you're strong and smart before they'll treat you with respect. That's what our leaders are doing with the aliens. Young Tommy raised his hand again. Miss Anderson, are the aliens going to be our friends now? Beth smiled. I think they're going to be very surprised by how clever humans can be. In the alien fleet, emergency meetings were being held on every ship. The evidence was overwhelming. Humanity had powerful allies, advanced technology, and the willingness to use both. The simple conquest that Ambassador Zexthul had planned was now impossible. Sir, a sensor operator reported, we're detecting massive energy buildups from the unknown fleets. It appears they're preparing for battle. Zexthul made the hardest decision of his long military career. Send a message to Earth. Tell them we want to negotiate. Dr. Alex Turner watched the alien communication come through and allowed himself a tired smile. The deception was working better than he had dared to hope. But now came the most dangerous part. They had to negotiate with the aliens without revealing that everything was an elaborate bluff. Maria, we did it. They want to talk instead of fight. But Alex, what happens when they discover the truth? Alex looked out at the stars, where phantom fleets continued their impossible dance around real alien ships. Then we'd better make sure they never find out. Ambassador Zexthul stood alone in his private chamber aboard the flagship, staring at the communication from the Galactic Council High Command. The message was brief but clear. Withdraw immediately and extend an invitation for Earth to join the Council as an equal member. This is unprecedented, he muttered to himself. In 300 years of service to the Council, he had never seen them back down from a conquest, but the evidence was overwhelming. The unknown fleet surrounding Earth, the impossible weapons demonstrations, and the intercepted diplomatic messages all pointed to one terrifying conclusion. Humanity was protected by civilizations far more advanced than the Council itself. Commander Vexnall entered the chamber with news that made Zexthul's situation even worse. Sir, we've lost contact with 2 more surveillance posts. The humans and their allies are systematically destroying our intelligence network. What Zexthul didn't know was that those surveillance posts had been abandoned by their crews hours earlier, then destroyed by hidden explosives to maintain the illusion that Earth's phantom allies were cleaning up alien spying operations. On Earth, Dr. Maria Santos was working frantically to create the final piece of humanity's deception. She had spent the last 6 hours crafting what appeared to be diplomatic communications between Earth and the mysterious Andromeda Trade Union, discussing the terms of a mutual defense treaty. Alex, this is our last transmission, she told Dr. Turner. After this, we either convince them completely or they figure out we've been lying. The fake message was a masterpiece of misdirection. It showed Earth's representatives politely declining an offer from their Andromedan allies to remove the Council threat permanently. The message suggested that humanity preferred diplomatic solutions, but appreciated knowing that overwhelming military support was available if needed. Dr. Alex Turner activated the quantum transmitter one final time. The message would reach the alien fleet in minutes, and their code-breaking computers would decode it shortly after. If this worked, the aliens would believe that humanity had just prevented a devastating attack on their forces. President Carol Adams was in the Situation Room with her advisors, watching the final phase of their desperate gamble unfold. General Ryan Brooks had just reported that all Earth's military forces were in position to maintain the illusion for as long as necessary. "Madam President," Admiral Kate Sullivan announced, "we're receiving a transmission from the alien flagship. They're requesting immediate diplomatic talks." Carol took a deep breath. This was the moment they had all been working toward. "Put them through." Ambassador Zexthul appeared on the main screen, but he looked very different from the confident conqueror who had delivered the ultimatum days earlier. His posture was humble, almost apologetic. "President Adams of Earth," he began, "I must express the Galactic Council's sincere regret for our earlier misunderstanding. We were not aware of your species' extensive alliances and advanced defensive capabilities." Carol kept her expression neutral, even though inside she was amazed that their deception had worked so completely. "Ambassador Zexthul, we appreciate your more respectful tone. However, the Council's threats against humanity were quite clear. Please understand, President Adams, the Council operates on incomplete information. We believed your species was isolated and technologically primitive. Your allies have demonstrated otherwise quite convincingly." What Zexthul meant was that Captain Jenny Collins' destruction of the surveillance outpost and the Phantom Fleet demonstrations had terrified the Council leadership into complete retreat. Carol leaned forward slightly. "The Council's intelligence was indeed flawed, Ambassador, but we are willing to discuss peaceful relations, provided that Earth sovereignty is respected." "Of course, President Adams. In fact, the Galactic Council would be honored to extend an invitation for Earth to join our organization as a full member. Your technological insights and your allies' capabilities would be valuable additions to our community." Colonel Dan Foster, watching from his command post, had to suppress a smile. The aliens were so convinced of Earth's power that they were practically begging humanity to join their club. Dr. Alex Turner was monitoring the negotiations from Luna, ready to activate the quantum generators if the aliens showed any signs of suspicion. But as he listened to Ambassador Zexthul's humble request for friendship, he realized that their deception had succeeded beyond their wildest hopes. Captain Sam Parker was still piloting Ghost Rider through formations of phantom ships, maintaining the illusion that Earth was protected by massive fleets. His instruments showed that the alien vessels were already beginning to withdraw to safer distances. "Sam," Jenny Collins called over the communication link from her fighter, "the aliens are actually leaving. They're not just pulling back, they're heading out of the solar system. Keep the quantum generators running until they're completely gone," Sam replied. "We don't want them changing their minds." Back in the White House Situation Room, President Adams was concluding the most successful bluff in human history. "Ambassador Zexthul, Earth accepts the Council's invitation to join as an equal member. We look forward to peaceful cooperation between our peoples." "Thank you, President Adams. I will personally ensure that the Council understands humanity's unique position in galactic affairs. We have clearly underestimated your species' capabilities." When the transmission ended, the Situation Room erupted in quiet celebration. They had done it. Humanity had faced extinction and turned it into an invitation to join the galactic community. General Brooks was the first to ask the obvious question. "Madam President, what happens when they discover that our allies don't actually exist?" Carol smiled for the first time in days. "Then we'd better make sure we're ready to defend ourselves for real. But for now, we've bought humanity time to grow stronger and maybe find some actual allies out there." Dr. Maria Santos was shutting down the quantum generators on Luna when she realized something important. "Alex, we proved that humans can be incredibly creative when we're desperate, but we also proved that we can work together like never before." Alex nodded as he watched the last alien ship disappear from their sensors. Maybe that's humanity's real strength. Not the fake fleets or impossible weapons, but our ability to unite when everything is on the line. Teacher Beth Anderson was explaining the news to her students the next morning. The government had announced that Earth had successfully joined something called the Galactic Council, and that humanity now had friends among the stars. Miss Anderson, young Tommy asked, how did we become friends with aliens so fast? Beth smiled as she looked out the classroom window at the blue sky, knowing that somewhere out there, human ships were already beginning humanity's first real missions to explore the galaxy. Sometimes, Tommy, the best way to make friends is to show them that you're not afraid to stand up for yourself. Construction worker Pete Johnson was back to his normal job, but now he was helping build humanity's first real interstellar communication center. As he worked, he thought about how close they had all come to losing everything, and how human cleverness had saved them all. Captain Lisa Rodriguez was preparing the Pioneer for humanity's first diplomatic mission to the Galactic Council headquarters. Her ship would carry Earth's representatives to meet civilizations that humanity might someday call genuine allies. As Earth began its first day as a member of the galactic community, Dr. Alex Turner sat in his laboratory and smiled. They had bluffed their way out of extinction and into the stars. Now they had to make sure that when humanity next faced a challenge, they would be ready with more than just clever tricks and quantum illusions. The stars were calling, and humanity was finally ready to answer.